In this video, you'll learn tons of new Spanish words that you didn't know you already knew. Wait, what? That's right. With Spanish cognates, you can instantly add tons of words to your vocabulary. Keep watching, and we'll share with you a few simple tricks that will take your Spanish vocabulary to the next level. Hey everyone, Danae here with Take Lessons Live, bringing you the latest Spanish tips right from our virtual classroom. Coming up, our Spanish teacher, Katharina, is going to teach you everything you need to know about Spanish cognates and false cognates. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay updated with more Spanish lessons, just like this one.
And the last thing that I wanted to talk about are those cognates, or cognados in Spanish. And cognates are basically words that are very similar or even identical in two languages. And you come across them a lot. For example, we have banana and banana. We have restaurante in Spanish and restaurant in English. So whenever you start reading a text, you will notice that a lot of them are similar or some are even identical. And it will really help you to understand text better. Let's talk about the near perfect cognates. So an example would be abstraction in English, and we have abstraccion in Spanish. Or we have action in English and accion in Spanish. And the rule for these are all the nouns that are ending with an tion. They're going to be converted to Spanish by replacing the tion with a cion. And you can see it here, so abstracción, acción, acusación, and so on. So that's rule number one that you can remember. Then we have those in English that end with an ary. Anniversary, aniversario. So you have the ary endings. If you want to convert the word to Spanish, you just replace it with an ario. So adversario, aniversario, arbitrario, you have those. Another one would be if you're going to look at the adjectives. We have, for example, academic, alcoholic, artistic, authentic, and those ending with an IC in English can be converted to Spanish by replacing that IC with an ICO. So académico, alcohólico, artístico. But just by looking at it, by hearing it, you can build those bridges and say, okay, yep. Then we have the other ones ending with OUS. So curious, delicious, glorious. And they can be converted to Spanish by replacing that with an OSO. So curious, curioso. Delicious, delicioso. Glorious, glorioso. We have those. Then the same applies for the ones ending with an CTs. Abstract, act, artifact, they will be in CTO in Spanish. So abstracto, acto, artefacto. So you see that there are a lot of rules, and if you remember them, you just look at the endings and you can switch them to Spanish. Those were the near perfect ones because you have to change something in order to make them Spanish or English. But we also have those perfect cognates, and they're exactly the same. They're spelled the same way, but they might be pronounced differently. So for example, we have actor in English and actor in Spanish. Agenda in English, but agenda in Spanish. And then we have the false cognates. And it can be a little bit tricky here because they sound very similar. So just a few examples here. We have the Spanish word la advertencia, would translate to warning in English, but it can be confused with the word advertisement, advertencia and advertisement, but that would actually mean el anuncio in Spanish. Or we can have la apología, can translate to defense in English, but apology in English is actually translated to la disculpa in Spanish. Or la arena in Spanish can translate to sand in English, but arena in English means al anfiteatro in Spanish. The same for verbs. There are some as well. So the Spanish word asistir translates to attend in English, but to assist in English is ayudar in Spanish. And the same for adjectives and adverbs. Maybe one more example. So we have actual in Spanish, translates to current in English, but actual in English translates to verdadero in Spanish. So there are a lot of words that work, some don't work, so just make sure that you know the difference.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Now that you've learned all of the similar words in Spanish and English, you'll be able to have much more conversations with friends and family. But if you want to get fluent in Spanish even faster, click the link in the description box below. You'll get to access free online classes with live teachers just like Katharina. So sign up today, and we'll see you in class.